Hello and welcome to CNBC TV18's Mumbai newsroom. I'm Ekta Batra and you're watching your stocks on CNBC TV18 this Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. Well, it's turning out to be a session where we are seeing some amount of resilience for our markets. Yes, we're off the day's high, but nonetheless, we're still holding steady with a gain of around half-odd% currently for the Nifty, and the Bank Nifty is up around 100-odd points as well. The mid-cap index too, marginally better than the Bank Nifty, currently with a gain of around 0.4%. Joining us this afternoon, we have Astha Jain, who's the research analyst at Hem Securities, and Ashish Kyal, CMT author at Wave Strategy Advisor, to answer all of your fundamental as well as technical queries. Astha as well as Ashish, welcome to the show. Ashish, before we kick off the show in terms of queries, just wanted a quick word from you in terms of how you would approach the last 1.5 hours of trade, considering the global volatility that we've seen.
Hi, afternoon to you and all the viewers. If you look at the overall market movement, I think Nifty has formed a very important low around 16,850. We have seen a lot of news flows coming out from globally and a lot of events happening. But despite of that, Nifty is managing to buck the trend and show some kind of resilience today, which is a positive sign. And along with that, even Bank Nifty, if you look at it, it's up by odd 50 points only, but recovered sharply from the day's low. So if Nifty manages to cross that 17,090 mark, 17,100, I think there can be a move towards that 17,250 to 300 levels over short term. And on the downside, 16,850 is going to be an important support. So looks like some consolidation possible, relief rally possible from here after around 6 to 7 days of selling that we have seen. And that's a good sign.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So that's definitely a good sign. But let's get in some queries now. We have Pavan, who writes to us from Uttar Pradesh, and he holds 200 shares of ONGC, which he's bought around 110 rupees, and 50 shares of Eicher Motors, which he's bought at around 2,750. So what he wants to know is whether to hold or sell at current levels. Well, he's in the money right now, but Astha, what would you recommend on both ONGC as well as Eicher Motors? ONGC has outperformed on a year-to-date basis, but you can't say the same for Eicher.
Yes, hi Ekta, good afternoon. So first of all, talking about ONGC, I think he can hold his position, but we are not seeing a higher price on this stock in particular, because we are seeing the whey crude oil prices are falling down. So I think that is not very much positive for upstream companies like ONGC, but on the contrary, we have the other things which are playing in the favor of this company, like their oil production. It can have a growth of around 1% maybe for FY23, but from FY24 onwards, we are expecting the oil production growth to be around 4 to 5%, including from KG98 too. So that will be acting in favor of this company. Along with that, their standalone capex is also looking strong to us with around rupees 30,000 crore annually. So they will be spending on that. So that will be acting as a driver for the future growth of company. So all in all, not very much positive on this counter due to fall in crude oil prices, but it looks average to me. So I am recommending him to hold with the price target of 170 to 175 on the higher side. Talking about Eicher Motors is looking strong to us. First of all, the strong results which this company has presented in their Q3 of FY23, it is looking very good to us. Apart from that, there are various new launches which are ready for this company, like we already know about, like Sherpa is there, Shotgun is there, Bullet is there. So I mean, there's companies standing with various strong launches, so they will be helping the company in growing their financials going ahead. And this company is also targeting revenue growth of around 20% CAGR for coming 2 years, I suppose. So this counter is looking good to us, and that's why we are maintaining hold on the Eicher Motors.
Okay, all right. So positive on more positive on Eicher Motors than on ONGC. But Ashish, technically, what would you recommend on both?
See, if you look at ONGC, it has definitely outperformed even today. If you look at it after forming a low at 148 yesterday, showing a good positive sign. So I think he can continue to hold on to ONGC, expecting a target of around 165 to 170. That's the target. On the downside, 148 remains a very important support. So hold on with that stop loss. Eicher Motors, we have seen correction in the auto space, in the broader market also. So there is some kind of a correction that is possible, but I would recommend to hold on to Eicher Motors. Once the entire sector reverses up, I think Eicher Motors should start outperforming again. And once it breaks above that 3,080 mark, we can expect it to go towards that 3,400 levels or much higher. So from the medium to long term perspective, I think Eicher Motors can give good returns. On the downside, very important support for the stock is at 2,800.
Okay, 2,800 is a support for Eicher Motors. Let's get to another query, this time from another Nifty company. Samiksha Patel writes to us from Mumbai. She holds 100 shares of Kotak Bank, which she's bought at around 1,713 rupees each. And she's a medium-term investor and wants to know what to do with it, hold or sell this particular counter. What would you recommend, Ashish, on Kotak?
See, Kotak Bank is one of a very strong banks, I would say, because if you look at the long-term chart, it has given returns to its investors. Over short-term years, there are corrections that we are seeing in this stock, but that should be an opportunity to possibly average out more if the investor wants. And on the upside, I think Kotak, if breaks above that 1740, can even head towards the level of 1860 and much higher. But the time horizon has to be extended to be at least a year's time. There can be short-term consolidation possible, but eventually the stock should outperform an 1860, and once that level is crossed, I think we should be headed back to 1960 also. So I'm extremely bullish on this stock.
Okay, you're extremely bullish on the stock. Well, it's fallen as much, you'd have to say, as the Bank Nifty at this point. On a year-to-date basis, the Bank Nifty is down around 8.7% and Kotak has lost around close to 8-odd%. Astha, the correction has largely been in line with the frontline banks. What would you recommend on Kotak?
So for Kotak, our recommendation is again a hold. Price target can be set at around 1,800 odd levels. We are positive on this bank, which has 1,700 branches, 2,800 ATMs, but now they have planned to add 150 more branches in coming financial year. So that will be acting in a positive way for this bank. Apart from that, we can see that this bank will be growing at a 5% growth level for the AUM on year-on-year basis. So that is again a positive. So I think their credit growth is positive. They are showing continuous improvement in their asset quality. And in fact, the bank is very much looking into the digital investments. So that are also benefiting the bank in a positive way. So all in all, Kotak Bank is looking a decent investment avenue. But at the present level, we are recommending just a hold. For the buy, we want to wait for some more time. So at present, he can hold. Price target can be set at around rupees 1,800.
Okay, price target for Kotak at around 1,800. So positive views coming in on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Yasmin Kiani writes to us now. She's writing in from Lucknow. She holds 40 shares of Bata, the footwear company, which she's bought at 1,300 rupees. So the current market price is higher. She wants to know what she can do with the stock, whether she should continue to hold on to it. Astha, what would you recommend on a fundamental basis? We've had some feelers come in from companies such as Nestle, as well as even V-Mart, who we spoke to earlier today, indicating that there is some amount of maybe pressure coming in terms of consumption, and consumption is more at the lower end. Do you think Bata would probably correct basis on demand fundamentals?
I think there can be some sort of demand pressure we can see, but now this company is planning to move into tier 3 and 5 cities. So I think that will be acting in a positive way for this company going ahead, because they have a strong network of the branches at present also. And now they are planning to tap through the franchisee model. At present, I think there are 329 franchisee stores of this company, and now they are planning to add as much as so that it can reach the level of 500. So here, I think the strategy which this company is right now looking at will be helping in growing their financials moving ahead. And in fact, their normal footwear category as well as sneaker category is working in favor of the company. So all in all, I think this can be a hold avenue. Here, the price target can be set at around 1,575, 1,600. So these can be the price target which one can set for the Bata in the longer term only.
Okay. Ashish, the stock has fallen 14% this year. Do you see upside from these levels?
If you look at the overall stock, yes, it has corrected sharply. I think it was around some 1900 levels about in last September, and from there it is now at 1400. There can be some kind of a consolidation that we can expect. So I would advise to continue to hold on over here, maintaining a stop loss of 1350 on the downside. So there is possibility the stock can again move back towards that 1550, 1560 odd levels. the good part is that the investment is at a very good level of 1300, if I understand correctly, and the stock is still trading above that level. So we maintain 1350 as a stop loss so that at least the person will not lose anything. And on the upside, I think 1550 can be achievable in this stock.
Okay, all right. So that's the view coming in on Bata. But let's get to another query, this time from the banking space. Pushpa Kedia writes to us from Kolkata. She holds 75,000 shares of Yes Bank, which she's bought at around 16.5 rupees per share. Wants to know the future prospects of her investment. Ashish, what would you recommend on Yes Bank? It's currently below her buy price, but technically, is there any side room for upside?
See, we have taken this question on Yes Bank even earlier, and we can clearly see every time we talk about it, the stock has only upsetted the investor because it has continued to move down. It shows some kind of green shoot, sharply up, then again reverse back on the downside. So I'm not too optimistic about Yes Bank. Even after it managed to move towards that 16 levels, again move down, is moving down now. It's better to move out of the stock, park money into HDFC Bank or SBI or possibly Kotak Bank. Those looks much better, and slowly and eventually, I think she will be able to recover her losses. But staying in Yes Bank, I'm not optimistic as of now.
Okay, well, Astha, you know, the news with regards to Yes Bank doesn't end. It was in focus because its lock-in period expired. There was a steep correction on account of that. Fundamentally, however, in terms of net interest margins, asset quality, would it be a buy?
Yes, it was in the news, and that's why we have seen a downward momentum in the bank, in the stock prices of the bank, I should say. So here, what I personally believe is that now whatever steps they have taken, first of all, they have concluded the stress asset sale to JC Flowers. So again, I think this is the event which will help the company in improving their asset quality. And in fact, we have seen that in their GNP ratios, which is contained at around 2%. Talking about the other things also, they have raised certain funds from Carlyle and Advent around 8,900 crore, if I'm not wrong with my figures. So again, this will help the company in improving their credit growth. But all these steps which are taken by this bank, maybe these steps will show their result in the coming 6 months or 1 year. So here the time horizon matters. So if she's ready to wait for so long, then she can hold the stock, because if everything goes well with the bank, the way they are taking the step to improve their financials, I think it will take another 6 months to 1 year to show their result. So I think all in all, if a horizon is long term, then she can hold. And in the long term, our price target is at around 18 rupees. So I think that is somewhere more than what at the price she has taken the stock. So here the horizon matters. So if it is long term, then it is hold.
Okay, all right. If it's a long-term horizon, then maybe one could look at Yes Bank and hold on to it. Target price by Astha is 18 rupees on that particular counter. Well, we need to take a short break. We'll answer more queries once we're back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, for the markets, it seems to be picking up pace on the greener side. So that's definitely positive. I think the European market opening, which has been in the green, has actually aided in terms of sentiment, something similar to what we saw yesterday. So this is after Credit Suisse and First Republic Bank received that financial help, which is obviously designed to prevent any kind of crisis in the banking space. So that has really fueled the European markets, and that seems to be seeping into our markets as a positive theme as well. As you can see, the French market is up around 0.7% at this point in time. We do have Astha with us, and we have Ashish joining in on the technicals to answer all of your queries this afternoon. So let's get going in terms of a couple of other questions. Akash Malhotra writes to us from Delhi. He holds 200 shares, which he's bought of Bandhan Bank at around 338 rupees. And he's a medium-term investor, wants to know what to do with the stock. In this case, a lot of banking queries today, you'd have to say. But Ashish, what would you recommend?
Yes, we can see, because I think a lot of people are stuck on the banking side given the correction in the index. And Bandhan Bank is no exception. He bought at a very high level at 338, and the stock is currently at around 206 odd levels. We can see that sharp correction that has happened. But as of now, I think this level of 200, 210 is very, very important. This is where the low was formed even earlier in the month of November, December. And from there, we saw some kind of a bounce back. So over short term, I would recommend to hold on to the stock, use 190 as a stop loss. As if 190 remains intact, we can see a bounce back towards that 240, 250 odd mark. You can use that as an opportunity to book out of the stock at 240 or 250 because it will consolidate for some time. But if your time horizon, you can extend it to at least a year and a half to 2 years, then you can hold on to the stock for much higher levels. As of now, hold with 190 stop and target of 240.
Okay, all right. Well, on the fundamentals, at least, Astha, are you recommending to your clients that maybe this year could be a little tougher?
Yes, this can be a tougher year for the Bandhan Bank because the problem is with their MFI segment because we are not seeing any sort of credit growth from the MFI segment. However, the bank is now focusing on more towards the non-MFI segment, but it will take some time in order to build the portfolio towards that segment. Apart from that, we have seen the financials have not performed well also because there were some slippages issues with the banks. So we have seen their margins were also contracting. So all in all, the subdued performance was there by this bank in their quarterly results, which is not going in favor of the bank, and it takes a long time in order to whatever bank is focusing on right now in order to diversify their portfolio from the MFI segment to non-MFI segment. So here, if the time horizon is more than a year or so, then only hold. Otherwise, I would like to recommend exit from this counter.
Okay, all right. You're recommending an exit. We do have another query now. This too from the financial space. Mehul Vagmari writes to us from Nasik. He holds 100 shares of Manappuram Finance, which he's bought at around 69 odd rupees. Wants to know what to do. Is this a good time to sell? Sitting on a profit as we speak. What would you recommend? Would you recommend to cash in on a couple of these gold finances as well, Astha?
I think if he has no hurry to take profits, then he can partially keep his holding and partially he can book the profit. Why I'm saying partially? Because I'm still positive on Manappuram Finance because now they are looking towards diversification toward the non-gold segment. In fact, in one of the latest development, they have paid $300 million linked bonds also. So now this will help in improving the margins of this counter. And now the management is also targeting, which I have taken from their earnings transfer, is that they are targeting ROE at around 20%. So all these are sounding positive to us. So here my take is if he has no hurry to take the profits back, then he can partially hold, keep the holding of the stock, and here he can set the price target of around 125 to 135.
Okay, all right. And a quick word from you, Ashish.
Yes, I think the gold stocks will outperform. We can already see a good move on the gold side, and I think Manappuram has already showing some resilience on the upside. So continue to hold on to the stock here, expecting a target of 126 on the upside with support at 108 levels.
Okay, all right. So that's the word coming in on Manappuram Finance. Well, Ashish as well as Astha, we're going to let you go and enjoy your weekend as well. Thank you very much for joining in and taking us through all of the queries this Friday. Well, for the markets, it's turning out to be a session where we're definitely seeing some amount of stability in terms of gains. We do have the Nifty, which is holding above 17,000. We have the sensex, which is up a cool 140 odd points at this point in time. All this on a good advance decline ratio as well. So around 1,800 stocks advancing on the National Stock Exchange to around a little over 1,000 stocks which are declining. Just keep your eye out in terms of specific broader market stocks. So for example, we have Patanjali Foods, which is still down. It's lost out quite significantly this week on expected lines. It's down around 10 odd %. Z Entertainment too is down around 1.8% at this point. Biocon, we did speak to the management today. That stock too a little under pressure. Stock has lost around 1.5%. That's all the time that we have on the show. But do remember to email us all of your queries and we will address them with our experts. Stay tuned. Closing bell up next.